excitement still here. No wonder. 4 electrifying frames with Ronnie O'Sullivan looking in superb form.
Thank you. The 5th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break. Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
Long way to go, of course, and we've seen enough of John Higgins' strength in keeping in touch with his opponents when they look to be getting on top of him. But you would think that he really can't afford to let Ronnie O'Sullivan get too far ahead. He's a great front runner. And John a little lucky there not to have left a pot on. He got that one all wrong.
Well, can John Higgins get through to this red in the left centre? That was an attacking safety shot from Ronnie, and as you can see, he's left a chance of this red. Well, it was a half chance. Having a look, see what damage he's done. As I say, it was a half chance. The problem with this shot, of course, he wasn't certain where the cue ball was going to finish, and if you look where it finished, he wasn't on a colour. But that was a long way away from Ronnie. But this is one of the things about snooker. Ronnie went full-blooded for that red. He's missed it, but as you can see, he's not left anything easy for John Higgins. Other days you miss and leave your opponent an easy starter. Well, it's a good white, but it's a red came very close to the left corner. I think Ronnie can get through. You can see he can. Just stopped, asking the referee to clean the cue ball. It was a thin contact, and making certain he didn't hit it too thick, overcut it. But once again, he's left the cue ball near a cushion, so there's nothing easy for John Higgins to go at.
Yeah, just wondering if he'd spotted a plant the 2 reds near the black, but I don't think he's aiming for that. He's just playing safe. But there was 2 reds nearly in line. He had a look at them. You'd have to be very confident that they were dead in line before you take it on, but they're not far off. Well, a bit thick. And now a definite potting chance for John Higgins. He would have liked something slightly easier, but you don't expect him to miss this from this range. Well, that could have finished either a bit further or a bit shorter, and he'd have been perfect on the pink. Now a more difficult colour.
Yes, and you get the feeling that John Higgins is going to take a colour on. He'd be disappointed to only make one from a chance like that. But there's no colour straightforward. So he's thinking of the green, and he'll be playing the pot. Now, as he judges the pace of the cue ball, I think he thinks it's too pacey, and he was right.
4.
So that could be it. There's maybe a red into the left centre, but boy, that'd be a risky shot to take on.
John Higgins 4.
Well, we say on many occasions, Ray, don't we, that mid-session interval can just throw a player out of his stride, and just these first few shots in this frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan doesn't look like the same player who played the first 4 frames.
Well, I agree, John. He's made a couple of bad safety errors, but he's not been punished for them. He hasn't left anything real easy, and that means that John has been really having to work hard. And that one was a bit of a stretch, and he had to do a bit with the cue ball. But now he's left Ronnie a much easier pot.
1.
But he really has got a lot of work to do here to make a substantial break, the way the colours are situated.
Well, he looks to have a nice angle on the green to play for the red in the baulk end. Well, he obviously didn't. He was very straight on the green, and that's not going to help matters.
4.
So realistically, at the moment, as you say, only the baulk colours to play for. He'd love to get the pink or the blue on the spot.
5.
Now he's coming down to have a look. I'm just wondering whether he's thinking of taking the chance and trying to cannon into the black or those 3 reds to bring the black into play. It'd be risky. No, he's just decided to play on the loose red, but hasn't played it too well. He might not be on anything here. Well, that red just goes, but the way the cue ball is near the cushion, it'd be a good shot to pot it and get on a colour. Of course, the red closest to the cue ball is potable, but very difficult.
acknowledgement as he walked away from the table about the fluke, but to be honest, it really was an extremely well played safety shot. That's all he's played, and the cue ball's finished in exactly the spot Ronnie wanted it, but he's now got to judge the pace to the brown, which he has done.
Sullivan, 10.
But you wouldn't expect John to leave anything easy from this. Looks as if he could find a path to the 3 reds near the black, maybe twice across the table, whichever.
Not exactly the red he played to hit, but he played it at the right pace, so he's not left anything, it doesn't appear. That was the main object of the exercise. Needs a good safety shot here. It's imperative he doesn't make contact with the pink or blue. Well, he just slid by them. Possible red into the right corner. Certain Ronnie would take it on if he knew where the cue ball was going to go after potting it.
Has he got the right angle? Has he got the pace?
Foul.
Had the pace, not the angle.
Ronnie Sullivan, 4.
And I think the red goes. The one that's near the black spot will sneak past the other.
Well, that was a bad mistake from John Higgins. He had quite a target to play for.
1.
And you just can't hand chances to the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, as I say, the first few shots after the mid-session interval, he looks as though he's just lost it a little bit. But you know, once he gets in a rhythm, and he will do if he keeps being left in amongst the balls.
Well, it just shows the difference in this frame to the 4 previous ones were already virtually a minute longer than any of the other frames took. Easily the longest, and quite a lot of play still in this. But if he can find a way of getting at the black, and he's just looking for the spot there, and I do believe he's pretty straight on the red to the left, so it's all about judgment of pace. Well, he's just the wrong side of straight on that red, and that would take him away from the black a little.
Yes, but looking at that, Ray, I'm not certain which other colour he play for. Obviously, if he rolls the red in, he'll believe in himself, and that's why he's looking at it now. He'd wish he could get that close. It doesn't look like it. So he's going to leave himself a tricky black, but what's the alternative? Well, he managed to force it through. Now, has he forced it through too much? I think he has. That was the risk. And that was basically because he was trying to make the black as easy as possible. And now he's not on it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Everything right, except the red's come over the pocket. But still the problem, not only potting the red, but where does he find the colour?
One.
And if that, well, I was going to say if that comes a bit further and comes on blue or pink to the middle, it would have worked out ever so well. The brown's on. The blue is on to this corner, but he might be tempted just to roll up behind the blue and pink, free them. Well, the self-same thing. And now much more danger for John Higgins if he can't hit a red and get it safe this time.
Well, the red near the top cushion to the left of the black is the one he'd be trying to make contact with. That's not the red. Hits that, he leaves one. To be fair, that was a good snooker laid by Ronnie. And now a big chance for Ronnie with the pink in the open.
One.
Previous mistakes from John Higgins you never thought was going to be costly, but now the pink's in play, it could be.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Well, that's something that can happen when you're trying to hold the cue ball. He played it with lots of drag and trying to pinch a bit to get a fuller contact, to take the pace out of the cue ball. He's forgot to get the right angle, so that could have been very expensive for John Higgins. It's not straightforward where it's finished for him. Still needs a good shot to find a colour.
Yes, and John Higgins, you feel, has got to take advantage of these mistakes. Ronnie O'Sullivan in the first 4 frames never made one. Well, not one that you could really put your finger on, but that was careless. I know what you're saying, Ray. You were maybe trying to pinch or something with the pink, but there was no need to. He had a choice of 4 reds to play on. So he's just not with it after this mid-session interval, and a chance now for John Higgins to take advantage. He can't let this opportunity go. Shot with a rest and a brave one. Fully committed.
6.
Well, it's a good pot, this. It was difficult to play it on the slow side to hold for the blue, and he's gone off the 3 cushions, and he's a little unlucky again. He's finished exactly where he didn't want to be. He could drop the pink in, but he can't get down to the reds. The brown's certainly no easy pot. I think he'll just take the pink on and drop it in and leave himself a distance away from the red. Much more difficult pot than he would have liked, but I think it was essentially not the pink in.
13.
Yes, I think in any frame when you're behind, points are the priority. He's just 4 points behind now in this frame. Shot for nothing here on the red.
John Higgins, 13.
Was nearly there. But the main concern was get that cue ball back to the balk end. I don't know whether Ronnie will be tempted by that red. No, he's not. He's playing the safety off the red to the right of the black. And he's missed it.
Foul and a miss. John Higgins, 4.
Well, I would suggest John Higgins and don't have them replaced. Just let him play from there.
3 ball.
Yeah, the pink's in the way of this red in the middle, John, so he can't get to either side of it, so the free ball puts a completely different complexion on it, doesn't it?
Well, it does. That was the last thing I thought of, Ray, a free ball. Absolutely. The green, of course, will count as a red. So he gets 1 point for that. And then, as always, after a red,
1
colour to follow. Not on the blue as he would like, but he shouldn't have a problem with this. Just roll it in. And he played the stun run through. It's
6.
It's a little bit more difficult to control the cue ball, and this isn't the red he played for. He played for the one near the pink.
John Higgins, 6.
I just don't think his confidence is very high at the moment. That was a tough red and having to play it with pace, but when he played the blue, he stunned run through, and that to me was a sign of a little lack of confidence. But at the moment, Ronnie can't do it and keeps giving John chance after chance. Now certainly he can get through to this red. Another chance to build up a lead in this frame.
1.
He's a bit short of pace, but he's got the red down beyond the blue as a saviour, as it were. Should be able to drop on that off 2 cushions.
Eight.
Well, he's not been over adventurous with that one. It was a bit straight, but he would have liked to have been straighter on the blue here. These, well, you expect him to knock them in, but just a little too far away for comfort. No problem, in it goes. 19
13
points in front. So he's certainly needing all 3
14
remaining reds to win this frame.
Yes, and just looking at the body language there, Ray, I think he's a little bit annoyed with himself. He wanted an angle on this pink so he could pot it, and stun across and maybe bring the black and the red, but as you see, it's the wrong side of the pink for what he originally intended. Trying to force through, but if he'd have had the perfect angle on the pink, this break could have carried on. Not now. 26 ahead, but still 43 left.
Well, it looks an easy snooker to just push the red past the black, but we've seen how delicate a shot this type of shot is on this cloth. And it's okay if you get it right. Misjudge the pace of the cue ball, you could be in trouble. Oh, that's okay. It's easy to hit, not easy to play a good safety shot from.
Lovely delicate touch there from Ronnie.
Touching ball.
Oh, that'll help John Higgins. Touching ball. So he fires away. See the bit of chalk on the white. I wonder if we'll have that cleaned. Well, it won't affect this shot because it won't be any kick. Because when it's touching, of course, he can't move the red. Just fire away. You're deemed to have hit it. You'll be trying to find the baulk cushion behind the green here. And he'd be looking for a snooker on both reds. And I think he's got it. 26 points in front and in control at the moment. Good shot from Ronnie. It really was to control the swerve like that. But John Higgins won't be too displeased to see that red go near the right hand cushion. I think it's just a safety shot coming up here. He won't play the pot on this.
I have a feeling Ronnie can get past the blue to the red and maybe even get to the potting angle of this one towards the far corner. There you see it. Well, it wasn't easy, and John Higgins was a little unlucky to leave that path through, but what a beautiful pot from tight off the cushion. Luckily for John Higgins, he's not ideal on the colour.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
And it's amazing how quick this young man's brain is when he cares to play an all-round game, Johnny. Immediately found the awkward spot, kept the yellow in play. He knows that if he gets a chance on the red, the frame could be his.
Yes, and that's what he did. He brought the yellow into play, he got the snooker, and John Higgins hasn't got this red safe. Don't get me wrong, it's not an easy pot, but if Ronnie O'Sullivan knocks it in, you could see him winning the frame. Never touched the side. Brilliant pot, and from nowhere, Ronnie O'Sullivan now favourite for the frame.
Seven.
John Higgins certainly doesn't look quite as sharp as we've seen him over the last couple of weeks. He's probably still getting over the effects of a wonderful match yesterday.
9. 12.
He needs them all.
$16. $21.
Well, he created
27.
this opening with a very astute safety shot, but it was a very good red that he took on and knocked in, clean as a whistle. Woo, that one wasn't so clean though, but Ronnie O'Sullivan looked as if he might have lost that one. He hasn't. He's gone further ahead at 4 frames to 1.
3-frame lead for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and the frame-winning ball, the red which set up the frame-winning chance, John, was played with utter certainty, wasn't it?
Yeah, very good. He's actually slightly hampered on his cueing as well, and he's hitting across the ball. You can see he's slightly hampered there over the green, and that can sometimes take your eye off it, but he's cued it beautifully and straight into the centre of the pocket. Red shot.
Yeah. Strange frame, the effects of the interval, as we've seen so often in the past.
Happens many, many times. I mean, as I say, I said earlier, I think John will be delighted to see the interval, because Ronnie really was in the zone, as it were, and he was playing so well, and he looked like he was going to score, 80 off every chance he got. So it's just broken his concentration up slightly, and I think that'll probably be the scrappiest game you'll see in the whole match.
Yeah, a painful one for John Higgins, because he did seem, for all that they both made mistakes, to have it under control for most of the frame, in fact.
Yeah, and Ronnie played a couple of loose safety shots and missed a couple of pots, and he got a few chances in the game, but the balls were always awkward and horrible, and he'd like to have seen a sort of game like that he could win and get himself back into it, and a disappointment to lose it, really.
Yeah, John just seemed just a little out of touch somehow, just not quite on 100% efficiency at the moment.
Yeah, he mentioned in commentary there, Ray Edmonds, he may just be still feeling the effects of yesterday, and I wouldn't blame him in the slightest for that. I mean, he had an absolute gruelling match with Matthew Stevens, and you can't begin to tell you how much that takes out of you as a player. And it also gets magnified if your opponent, like Ronnie O'Sullivan, he played in the first session, keeps making 70 and 80. It makes you feel tired a hell of a lot quicker.
Well, John, the best he can do now, obviously, is to share the session, and what a result that would be for him if he could win the next 3. But one gets the feeling that Ronnie is going to take control of this final in this opening session, don't you?
He is at the moment. It's a couple of big games for John. He needs to win 2 of the next 3.